Hello, this is Robert Rickover at Body Learning. And today my guest is Linda Ross, a retired attorney in Anacortes, Washington. And she's had Skype sessions with me for the past couple of months. And I thought it would be interesting if we talked a little about her experiences with those. Linda, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Robert.
And I wonder before we talk about your experiences with Skype, if you could tell our listeners what you would answer if someone were to ask you what is the Alexander technique.
That's a hard question, but I think I would say that for me, the Alexander technique is a way of using my body in a more efficient way so that I don't have as much pain or as much strain on my back primarily, but generally.
Mm-hmm. And what is it that brought you to specifically that caused you to explore Skype sessions?
Well, Robert, I'd had some hands-on lessons, but because I live in a pretty rural area, it was impossible for me to continue, and I wanted to continue, and I read a little bit about your Skype sessions, and I thought, well, this would be great if I can have some sort of continuation of this Alexander learning in my own home and without having to drive a long ways.
Mm-hmm. And the particular things that you were interested in terms of your own physical functioning, what was primary in your interest in the Alexander technique in general?
Well, what first led me to the Alexander technique was that I was having a lot of back pain, and it was affecting the activities that I enjoy most, which were hiking, and I play piano for fun. And both of these activities were starting to cause me so much back pain that I had to cut back on those activities. And I had tried physical therapy and some other things that really weren't very productive. And my piano teacher had mentioned Alexander technique. I started researching it, and I thought, well, this might be something good to try. And it has certainly helped me.
Mm-hmm. And when you first started having Skype sessions, what was since you'd had hands-on lessons before, what was your reaction to them? Did they seem strange or no hands-on, obviously?
No hands-on, but in a way it was better because I knew in a sense what I was striving for, but I had some frustration that in between my lessons, I was never quite sure what I was supposed to be doing or how to practice or how to experiment with it. And what I really loved about your Skype lessons was that you always gave me, I won't say homework, but there were always things I could work out for myself, experiments that I could try on my own so that I felt like I was constantly building on my knowledge and had an ability to control it myself. It wasn't just a question of going to a lesson and having somebody lay hands on me. I was a more active participant in the process.
Mm-hmm. And can you say a little about what aspects of your say physical functioning changed over the course of the Skype sessions?
Yeah, you gave me these experiments to do while I was in the activity, for example, with my hiking, so that I was able to try some different things, and I really found that it lessened my back pain, and I was able to walk with less strain and less pain, and that's pretty wonderful.
Mm-hmm. And would you have any recommendations for someone who was in a situation like you are, which is fairly isolated, who wanted to explore Alexander's discoveries? Would you recommend Skype sessions? And
I really would. And I think even if you haven't had the hands-on lessons, it's helpful. And I say that because one of the great things about your sessions, Robert, is that we videotape them. So there's a chance to review the session as well. And I've had my husband look at some of these videotapes, and he's gotten a lot out of it. Just some of the general concepts and some of these little experiments on how to how to how you move and how you use yourself, how that can make a difference in your life, and it's helped him too. So I think there's a benefit whether you've had a lesson before or not.
Hmm. Is there anything else that you would like to add to anything else you'd like to say before we come to a close?
Well, I would just recommend these sessions if you have an interest in Alexander technique, because you're going to learn a lot, and I think it's very helpful. And it's something that is a lot of fun too. I would like to add that I've really enjoyed it. It's not been an onerous process. It's very easy. It's something you can just do very easily on your own after you've had a lesson, and it's very enjoyable.
Okay, well, maybe we could end on that note. My guest today has been Linda Ross, who lives in Anacortes, Washington, and I'll put a link by the podcast to a site that will give our listeners more information about the Alexander technique in general. So, Linda, thank you so much for this.
Well, thank you, Robert. I've enjoyed it.